Hi.
Everybody.
Hey, hey.
Hello. Okay, I guess we're starting. Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome to AIRIE Asks. We're so excited that you're here, and happy Earth Day to everybody. And also thank you for being here. We understand that this is an incredibly difficult time for everybody, and we hope that you're all safe and well. And thank you for spending the time with us and connecting with us and letting us connect you with Dara and with the Everglades and with AIRIE. So I am going to say a couple of thank yous first, if that's okay. I'm going to say thank you to our board. Thank you so much. Without you, without your support, we would not be here. And that also goes for our partners at the Everglades National Park. Thank you, thank you. I also want to say a quick hello to our fellows. Hello, fellows. We have over 180 of them. I see some of them have joined. Hello, thank you. And also a quick hello to some of our Miami partners who we love dearly, which would be Pam and the Bass and ICA and Young Arts and Oolite. And so thank you for being here. So a couple of little housekeeping first, and then we'll get to Dara, because I'm obviously really excited and I can't wait. So a couple of little bit of housekeeping. Questions. If you have questions for Dara, please put them in the Q&A. And then Tommy, who you can't see at the moment, is our technological wizard. He's going to take all the questions and then send them to me, and then I'm going to ask Dara at the end. So that's a little bit of housekeeping for you. And then we also have a surprise for you after the talk, which is Dara has agreed to share some unseen footage that she took during her residency at the Everglades, which we're really excited about. So stay online afterwards so you can see the magic, because it's beautiful. Okay, so finally, also, I should introduce myself. Oh, hi, everybody. I'm Helen Toomer. I'm the new executive director here at AIRIE. I feel so fortunate to have joined this magical family, and I'm excited to start AIRIE Asks and on to the guest of honor, Dara Friedman. Hello. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Helen.
So appreciate it.
Really, so happy.
Oh
Very,
no,
very
Dara.
happy. Can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay.
So happy for you to be here. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I wondered maybe, I mean, everybody knows who you are. You're an incredible filmmaker, an incredible artist. But I wondered maybe to start off, you could share a little bit about yourself and your practice with us.
Okay. Hi. I'm an artist who makes film. Um, I seem to the subject often seems to be emotion, and I try to find a structure for things that maybe appear to have no structure. And yeah, is my audio coming in okay?
Yes, you're, yeah, a little in and out, but I can hear you. Can everybody else hear okay? Hands up in the audience. Yes, I think everybody's good. So Dara, I have a question, because you are our artist in residence this past January. And one of the things that you said is that about your residency was that the shift of consciousness is gentle but profound. So could you share a little bit more about that and your experience during the residency?
Yeah. So I did the residency in January and it was amazing. But I arrived basically with nothing, with a sort of a very general idea that I was interested in water, but no idea really what that meant. So when I first arrived in the park at the residency, I was very disoriented. There was so much information. The park is so vast. The subject is endless. And so I was really sort of spinning. And, and, and slowly you begin to orient yourself, and the sort of the realities kind of settle, and you start to be able to sort of differentiate and sort of figure out just a little bit where you are. So it was like, I guess, just really sort of an orientation learning curve, and realize Everglades and the subject that I had sort of chosen, the subject water, was so big. So you know, how to begin, and whatever like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a huge, it's yeah, it's endless, but that's what but can you talk a little bit about how you was talking about water and how for many people we think about water giving life, but you said part of your research and some of your findings that you found were that you were learning about water being a bridge to death from some of the past people who inhabited the Everglades. So I wondered if you could share a little bit about that.
There's a few things about that. So I started to think about the Everglades and this residency sort of as the hub of a wheel that has all these spokes that sort of go out and connect to things. And I kind of knew that I'm really interested in the people who lived here long before air conditioning. So the people of the way back. And so one of these sort of spokes of inquiry that I was following was led me to the Randall Research Center over on Pine Island, which is just sort of north of the 10,000 Islands. And there I read this observation about the ancient Calusa, that they believed that the soul had three places that it lived. And one of them was in the pupil of the eye. One was in the reflection of the person in water, and one was in the shadow of the person. So this to me was really exciting information because, you know, the Calusa are like filmmakers. And also when I began to think about this thing of the pupil, you know, it's this sort of portal. It's this doorway. It's basically a black dot, a black hole. Sorry. So so one of the things that we talked about this a little bit before. So you know, the park is this very sort of broad place, and I didn't really exactly know what to do with myself at first. Sort of, you know, it was very kind of like stepping into these rooms of information and not knowing. But what was happening, and which was really getting my attention, is that the sort of the huge drama of the sunrise and the sunset every day. And it would be this sort of this event that I really looked forward to, and it was huge and it was dramatic, and you know, it was theatrical, and I was thinking about, you know, I mean, the sun really is the biggest star of our universe. I mean, it's a star, and it has this incredible horizon, this incredible stage. So on the very last day of my residency, actually, I realized that I wanted to film these sunrises and sunsets so I did that, and that's some of the sort of daily footage that you'll see later. But then what you see? So I was doing it coastally, and what you see is that the sun, the orb, uh, comes out of the water, sort of born out of the water, and it dies in the water. And so it does this arc. And so then, so following one of the other spokes of inquiry, I contacted Bob Carr, the sort of the head archaeologist of our county. Wanted to talk to him about his findings of the people of the way back, and I sort of said to him, I feel that there's this feeling of death there. Am I hearable? Because I don't hear myself. Yes? Yeah.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. And then tell me if I'm talking too long. Just do a timeout.
No, I
So
love it.
anyway, okay. So I said to Bob, I feel that there's I hope Bob's watching. Hi. That there's this feeling of death. You know, I had read about this place of the soul and the pupil, and of course, being a filmmaker, to me, the great orb of the sun in inverse is a dark dot, a black dot, which relates obviously to the pupil. So, you know, so I'm thinking about this very dramatic thing that happens every day, the sunrise and the sunset, and this place of the three souls, and you know, and where the soul goes when it dies, in this belief. And then Bob Carr shared, he said, yes, obviously the sort of the early peoples were buried in the water, in the solution pits. And when the sort of people first saw this, they didn't understand and thought maybe they were cannibals or something. But when you start to think about it, it makes sense, because when you dig in the ground here in Florida, you don't really get more ground, you get water. And so, you know, and you see this very daily huge thing of the sort of the sun being born of the water and dying in the water. And so it makes sense that that is where, you know, that's also sort of the human life cycle. Anyway, so that's a little bit on that.
I love the fact that you just like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
little bit. It's huge. It's amazing. You just dropped some amazing information, like the pupil as the doorway, and where does souls go, and you know, there's so much, so rich. Um, and I think we should probably let people know that the
And
oh, go on, Dara. Sorry.
oh no, so just a little bit of more tidbit
Mhm.
about the sort of this life of the soul. So the ancient peoples believed that the pupil lived on, or the soul of the person, even after death, lived on in the pupil. And I think this is maybe this place of the sun, but the reflection and the shadow were sort of recycled and reborn. And when the body was eaten by animals, the soul of this person would be, you know, moved into the body of this animal, and so it would cycle through until it was smaller and smaller and smaller. And anyway, sorry. So
It just continues. The cycle continues, and we should probably let people know that
yeah,
the sunset and the sunrise footage that you're talking about, that's what we're going to screen at the end. So really excited about that.
yeah,
um so I'd like to talk a little bit about, because obviously I'm a fan, and then before this I went and I rewatched some of your work, um, and and then so I rewatched the video of the Artissima Experimental Academy workshop, And it was amazing how you work with students. And then when we were talking the other day, you were speaking about potentially working on a syllabus at this time for students. And I wanted you to speak a little bit about why working with students is important, why education is important, and if you had thought any further about your summer syllabus.
Yeah, so to that, so trying to find the structure for this subject of water, and trying to find structure for our time now. You know, we don't have regular schedules. We're in this sort of like timeless zone, and yet the sun is rising and setting every day. And then so I like to work with the students. I like to work with other people in general, just because I'm just one person. So and so, you know, if you take this model of the spokes of a wheel, you know, it's different points of view on the same subject that lead to the same middle. So that's just how I like to do it. You know, I like to sort of find a subject, find a center of interest, a seed, and then see how other people find their way to it, and what paths they find to get to this central subject. More to that in a minute. But the students, yeah. So I mean, I have two teenagers at home now too, and nobody has. The summer plans are very, you know, we just don't know. And so I thought, well, I think it's fitting into the structure of this work on water to create a set of internships and to develop a syllabus, because it's so it goes off in so many directions. There's the religion and the anthropology and the archaeology and the hydrology, and then where it takes you to also is to cave diving in the caves of the Floridan aquifer, and it takes you to so many places, and more than I can cover. I mean, it takes you to you know, the great earthworks of the Calusa and the Tequesta, which are made of from cultivated shells, conch and oyster that's practicing aquaculture to create building material. So anyway, it's too big. The subject's too vast for me, and I'm interested to see how people, students, bring their own perspective and their own sort of interests and past to this same subject. So yeah, maybe we can organize that through AIRIE. We figured out how to set up these internships.
Yes, I like that. I like, we can definitely figure. I love the fact that you think about it as a spokes of a wheel and all these different perspectives, especially like you said, at this time where we're kind of isolated, and it's one of the amazing things about these kind of online platforms and bringing more people together to discuss and make us not feel so alone. So I just want to thank you again. Also, one of the comments, we've had like Dara for president already. So just in case you were wondering about, you know, what your next project could be, I think we would all vote for you if that's something you might consider. Oh, you talked the other day about, oh, sorry, you talked the other day in your book, just reminded me, you talked about the caves. Oh, hello. Conch. You talked.
Sorry, no, I just don't mean to interrupt. I'm seeing a comment from Lizzie, and I do want to go to that. She's saying a conch sound performance, and yes. So just before we get to the caves, yeah, I did bring some show and tell. So the conch, because I just touched on it briefly, and this is not from the Everglades National Park. I was very obedient, took no artifacts out, but yes, it does take you also to the conch and to the spiral, which is like these spokes of the wheel, which is sort of like our time now, because we don't know where the hell we're going. Everybody's sort of making it up as they go, and yet we know it will lead us somewhere. So the Kalus and the Tikesta, the people had this building material of the conch, and of course it also makes sound, but it's structure. So and right now I'm building. Hopefully she's watching a labyrinth with my mother Gundula, and this labyrinth has the strength. And she's teaching me very much about what happens in this structure that. I have more show and tell. So that in the labyrinth you have this center that's the wheel, and outside of it all the rings and all these paths kind of connect to different subjects and end up meeting back in the middle. And even when there's total confusion, you don't know where the heck you are or where you're going, your path connects, period. So anyway, so yes, and it does go to music too. How, I don't know yet. Maybe we can figure it out, Lizzie. Anyway, okay.
So there's going to be more collaboration going on.
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Oh, Lizzie saying yes, let's do it. So you heard it here first. Like, it's definitely gonna happen. I love the fact that you work on labyrinths with your mom. Like, that's incredible. And the image that you just showed us, where is that labyrinth being planned for?
Being planned for a women's empowerment shelter in South Miami. The location is undisclosed, but secret to keep it safe. But it yeah, here soon.
Okay, great. Um, one of the things you said the other day and you mentioned this about when you mentioned about caves, I remembered that you talked about like cave divers, thinking about like the caves as like the womb, and we're thinking about like the different parts of the landscape being different parts of the body. And I wondered if you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the really great things that uh, uh, I guess non-Western people, the people from the way back, teach us is that uh, to anthropomorphize the earth, to give it a body. And I talked about this before. And if we, we have relationships with people, we sort of naturally do that. But if we can learn to anthropomorphize anything, the water, the earth, the trees, and have a relationship the way we do with each other, or even with our pets or whatever, then we know how to behave appropriately, and we don't do things that are wrong, stupid, bad, hurtful, all that kind of stuff. So yes, to anthropomorphize the earth, to give her a body. We know that this is a way of changing our mindset to know how to behave appropriately while we're here on this planet. And then yeah, and so in thinking about one of these spokes of the wheel of water in Florida, it leads you naturally to the aquifer. So north of Lake Okeechobee, a system of caverns. I mean, it's this amazing underground network, labyrinth of watery tunnels. And so I was reading a little bit about them, and the cave divers describe the feeling of swimming in these tunnels, in these watery tunnels, about like being as being in the womb. They have this, obviously they have a very sort of a very strong feeling of being internal in a body, and it's undeniable. So it's also it's this labyrinth of our earth, which of course naturally mirrors our internal cosmos, you know, this sort of labyrinth that is our digestive system, that is our brain, and it sort of it does these sort of macro and micro worlds, which is what the labyrinth also does. It reveals this uh, um, internal universe, which is also what the cave diving is doing. Is that making sense?
Yes, yes. I'm just soaking it all in. I'm loving it. And you talked about kind of us, you know, if we give the earth a body, we'll respect it more and treat it better. And obviously, we're at a moment where we and hopefully more people are conscious of climate change and protecting the earth. And so, what do you think is the artist's role in protecting our environment?
I don't know.
I know that's a big question.
I mean, I don't know. Make your good work. I mean, I'm gonna say it can't, you know, just do your work. I mean, you just do your work and you do it consciously. What more can you do, you know?
Yep.
I mean, I don't,
No, that's
just, yeah,
do. Just do. Yeah,
just, just do it. Do your work.
do it.
Do your good work. I
Yeah.
mean, you know.
And and do you feel like you did the residency at AIRIE and being immersed in the Everglades, did this unlock um kind of a lot a different thought processes um for you? Like, do you think that it was beneficial to be so immersed within the Everglades?
Yeah, yes, of course, yes. Um, you know, we're sort of porous, but anytime you know you get a residency, and what you feel is encouraged. I mean, you know, it's you know, my sometimes I feel like the artist is like a camel. You have to survive on tiny sips of water for a long time, and then you know you come to a residency like this in the Everglades, and you get to drink a bit deeper, and you feel encouraged, and Deborah Mitchell was very good in setting up these different introductions to the different people and possibilities in the Everglades. So it's like it's you know it's a it's very kind. You've been given this kindness, and you lap it up. You feel very encouraged to keep going. Yeah, no, it's very nice.
Good. We like that. We like to think about our fellows as part of a big AIRIE family. So that's good to hear. And I want to ask you, what is it about Miami and South Florida that keeps you rooted in creating your work there?
I mean, I like to leave a lot too, but I do also, you know. Um, it's I guess this is my standard line because I do get asked that question a lot, and I always say it's like Dolly Parton song. It's wrong, but that's all right, you know. And and I do really feel it's like a farm here. You know, you can really get on with it. You're not increasingly you are distracted to go out and see things and do things, but for a long time that wasn't so. Uh, so I like it here, and I seem to stay here because I can get on with it here. You know, I can we can function here, and there's you know there's enough support, and there's enough also sort of time and space to get on with it. So
Yeah,
it seems to work.
yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward to spending more time there soon too. Um, one of the things you said in a video, which kind of struck me, was in order for us to truly win, the other side must also win. And you talk about practicing that, and I wondered if that's something you're still practicing.
I mean, we can practice forever, sure. You know, it's like, I mean, that was kind of something I learned. I wanted to make a work about fighting, right? Because I wanted to fight. I wanted to, and then if you're interested in fighting, the next thing you think about is winning. So I want to fight, and I want to win. And so, how do I do that? So, I asked my friend Spencer Sweeney, who I know is an Aikido master, for for an introduction to Aikido, and there was this kind of introduction of this kind of non-competitive way of engaging, and it was really that sort of lesson really came from the Aikido. And in my little sort of whatever lizard brain says, like, okay, so say if you're fighting someone and you knock them down and they're down and you're like, whoa, I won, and you walk away from coming and like stabbing you, like sort of throwing a rock on your head as you're leaving. I mean, and it makes, and and obviously this is sort of a political metaphor as well, that if you've knocked somebody down, freaking help them up, dust them off, work it out with them. And so, I mean, I didn't, these were things that I sort of learned or were revealed in making the work. And then when I practiced this later with a group of students, we realized that we were practicing excuse me, psychodrama, but it basically comes down to also to the labyrinth. And it basically comes down to being able to, excuse me, being able to put yourself in shoes and seeing things from the opposite point of view, excuse me. And excuse me.
Don't worry.
And you go. I have a frog in my throat.
Okay, don't worry. I was like, that's where water comes in. We're all like, we need it. So I'm gonna ask you a long question then while you're hydrating. So when you're talking about the conflict and Temple Door, and when I watched the piece, it struck me. There's a monologue by a woman, and there's so many emotions that she's omitting, and it just hit me, and it hit me especially in this moment because when I watched it, I had had a day of just like ups and downs and happy and sad and screaming and tired and overwhelmed and grateful, like all the things. So my question to you is that, especially at this time, are you looking at your work differently or connecting with it differently based on the current climate that we're in?
I don't think, I think I'm connecting with it differently. I'm seeing, thankfully, how the interests connect up. What I was going to say before, which relates to that too, is you learn making work. That's why you have to keep doing it. And I learned when I was making, I'll come back to your question. I learned from making Dancer that, like, if you look at a street from one direction, it looks one way. And when you turn around and look at it from the other direction, you may have no idea where you are. That simple pivot is two entirely different worlds. then when you add time of day to that, light, the sort of the how the light moves, what's in your stomach, what's in your thoughts, all these things sort of affect how you're able to see and perceive things. So um, what I'm finding, and as I get a little bit older, I mean, able is how these sort of different things learn connect up. So there's this different perspective that you get simply from looking down the road one way and looking around the road the other way, which is the same that you get in Aikido with this sort of win-win, which is the same lesson that you get in psychodrama, which is, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, seeing the world with their eyes. And then this this thing of the with this, which brings it to psychodrama, which talks about this emotional rainbow that you're talking about. And that's Constance Strickland. I hope she's watching too. Constance is a dancer and an artist who I've worked with quite a few times, who lives in LA. She's amazing, absolutely amazing. And so Constance, in that monologue that you're referring to, is obviously having a conversation with herself. She's having a conversation with herself, and possibly with God, and possibly with the goddess that she is. She's having a conversation with herself as a child, with herself, with her future child, with her mother, with herself as her future mother. Like that, we are all these roles at once. We are ourselves, and we are our future selves, and we are our past selves. And we can, and we are completely normal and stupid, and we were also sort of divine, and that we can tap into all these different aspects of ourselves in order to communicate with those aspects that are in others and beyond us. So yes, I think any time you have an intense or boiled down situation, the emotions will be intense and boiled down, and that's great. It's like back to the labyrinth. Sometimes you're in the very middle, and all these changes and transformations are happening, and sometimes you're just jogging around the outside, and you're just like, doing laps, and not much is happening. You're just kind of like walking the dog. But sometimes you're really like, it's going down, and you got to really work it out. Yeah. Anyway, so.
No, that's great. And we should tell everybody, because you mentioned emotional rainbow, so we'll be sharing with everybody the link that you sent us, the YouTube link with
Yeah.
with all the great pieces that we'll share.
It's a playlist.
Playlist, yes. I was listening to it last night. Had a little cry, I'm not gonna lie. It was
Oh, from the first one, from
yeah.
the camel weaving.
Camel.
That's
Yeah.
gonna make me
It's
cry. It makes
beautiful.
the camels cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. So because you just mentioned about the labyrinth, we have, I'm just reading the questions now. So we have somebody here from Miami-Dade Art in Public Places who says, we're so excited to work with you on this permanent public art commission. Can you talk more about the structure of the labyrinth, the proposed programming and library that might be part of it for residents of the shelter, and so they know how to use it?
Okay, briefly. So like I explained, I'll just very quickly, because it's a whole sort of panel discussion itself. But the labyrinth that Gundala and I are making consists of 16 sort of portals, and these 16 portals connect up with the different paths. I actually just yesterday wrote a list for the library there, and because wait, where is it? Oh yeah, basically everything that we've been talking about will be in this library, sort of obviously books on the thoughts of the labyrinth and Aikido and conflict resolution and the rocks in Florida and the Floridan aquifer and also children's books and cooking books and how to relate to people and talk to people and just the whole sort of brain cocktail that goes along with it, sort of the whole relating cocktail. Yeah, and there'll be, I don't know. Anyway,
it sounds like it's a huge project. There's lots involved, and because you were talking about the library and books, I wondered what you're reading at the moment.
oh gosh.
You're probably reading like 50 books, aren't you, right now?
But I did bring some show and tell. I did. Oh, this is a really good one. Digging Miami by Bob Carr, who I mentioned earlier. It's really fantastic. And I bookmarked, I wanted to bookmark this. Can you see this image here? It's an eye. It's an eye carved in the stone, and it has water in it, and it was uncovered in the Miami Circle and in the eastern corner of the Circle in downtown Miami. And I found this very encouraging bit of information, this idea of the sun, because the sun rises in the east, and this idea of the pupil and the portal and the whole thing. So anyway, there we go, breadcrumbs. And what else I have? Oh, this this caverns measureless to man. There's all these on the Floridan aquifer. There's sort of very hair-raising discussions about diving through these caves. Oh, I know what I want to show you. Right now on display in Marco Island is the Marco Island cat, which is incredibly beautiful. It's basically like Florida's Nefertiti, and it was discovered in 1895 by a guy named Cushing that was sent down by the Smithsonian. And they took it up to the Smithsonian Institute, and it hasn't really been down for like 100 and whatever the math is, 125, 150 years, and it's visible now, and you can't see all the views, but it's absolutely just so fine, so beautiful, and you can see the other some of the other carvings that Cushing pulled out of the mud in 1895, and that are some of the very few and intensely beautiful things that have been preserved from the people from the way back. I don't know, what else am I reading? I don't know, stuff. This is a good one.
Divine Horse. Oh, quote. You sent me a quote from that.
Right. I did, from the Joseph Campbell. And basically it boils down to, this is good for AIRIE actually, where it says, basically, and this is not to put down scientists in any way, but it says that when the, I mean, this is my caveat, but it says that basically when the scientists appear, the magic evaporates. So what it's meant to do is encourage artists to take a good look and sort of just throw themselves into this realm of what you think is science, because it's okay, because there's different information that is accessible to you than to the scientists, and so do it. There's definitely a place for artists in science. Joseph Campbell and Maya Deren encourage us.
I love that. Thank you. We have a question here from Baron Shura. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. The question is,
hey, Baron.
Oh, okay, you know him, great. How much of a plan to produce work was considered before the residency? Were there pre-production goals and a schedule, or did the experience in the Everglades guide the process? It's a great question.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ben, I make lots and lots of plans. I'm always planning. I'm a Virgo, so I make tons of plans and but then then I had nothing. So I had a great big plan. And then when I stepped into the residency, I all of a sudden had absolutely nothing because I didn't understand where I was and I needed to orient myself. And now slowly, so how I began the talk is, I like what I said, I'm interested in feelings, and so trying to find a structure. So it wasn't until I hit on the structure of the wheel of the labyrinth that I thought, like, oh yeah, okay, now kind of I'm starting to have a roadmap about how to approach this. But basically, no, there's no production schedule yet. But it's I think this plan of the interns, and I can see, these internships will be developed as different spokes of these wheel, and getting there. But basically came empty-handed, and now figuring out the structure.
Love that. Okay, we have another question from Anita Braham. She says, do you have any advice to artists during this time when many artists dependent on secondary jobs are being furloughed and losing commissions, etc.?
When they're being furloughed and losing commissions, do I have advice? I don't know. Um, I mean, what we are is creative, and if we have anything, it's our creativity. So and what we don't lack is imagination, and what we do as artists is we make something out of nothing. That's our magic. That's what we can do. um, and so you just have to practice your magic, I think. It's really, uh, um, I do think that we have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our friends. Uh, we have to love hugely. We must be courageous, and we can make things with very, very little. So, I do think that you have to practice that. And if you do, um, this luck that you need, that sort of you find sliding out of your fingers, will come back to you. But you must work. You must make something with nothing, and you must uh, love your friends and the people that you work with. And really, you might not have money, but you can have enthusiasm, and you can have ideas, and you can have love, and you can have your energy, and that's a shit ton more than most people have. So feel rich like that. you know.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love practicing magic. I love the love, and Dara, your energy. Thank you. Like your energy is like so great. You've been so like gracious and generous. And I think we've got just one more question before, and then we're gonna screen the footage. Is what do the Everglades represent to you, or what do they mean to you?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's I think it's this point of possibility, you know, like it's kind of the magic of the center. You think you were nowhere, but um I don't know yet, Helen. Maybe you have to ask me later. I
Oh,
don't
I
know. I'm
will.
not there yet.
I definitely, I'm going to be calling you every week, Dara, being like, come on, how's the syllabus coming? And like, when are we going to hang out?
You know, I was nervous to do this because I'm very much, very like at the beginning still of the thought process. I don't have it figured out. I just, I don't know yet. I don't know.
But I love that you like you were nervous and but you still agreed to talk with me. Like that means the world. Like Dara, honestly, I was so nervous because I'm just like, oh my God, you're Dara Friedman. Like you're epic. So thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody else does too. So do you want to say a little bit about the footage that we're gonna show, or do you just want us to roll it?
You're gonna show the sunrise sunset footage? Okay, so it's silent. It's there's no sound to it, so don't tap your volume. There's nothing there. Um, it's just dailies. I don't normally show dailies because, but these aren't normal times, so it seemed like appropriate to be a little bit generous. um, it's I went out and wanted to just capture this graphic of the sun rising, you know, this drama queen, this star, this, you know, our the star rising and setting. And it was difficult. I gave myself a week to do it. For all you tech heads, it's on 35 millimeter film with I guess an 800 millimeter lens, and filmed at 12 frames per second. And yeah, I just trying to catch it, you know. I mean, I always talk about this thing of you know, I don't like this term of shooting film. I do what you're trying to do is catch images. So this is just trying to sort of catch this amazing thing that happens, and you know, that's what you're seeing, and nothing's happened with it yet, but it's just to look at.
That's amazing. Thank you so, so, so much. I wish I could give you a big hug, but I'm sending you a big hug. And thank you for taking the time. And this has been AIRIE Asks Dara Friedman, and wishing you all a wonderful Earth Day, and stay safe and well, everybody. And yes, Tommy, please start the footage. Thank you, Dara.
Thank you so much.